Hi everybody. My name is Brian. I'm from HP, and I'm the country business manager for the country cluster called SEMC, to which Cambodia belongs, to which Cambodia is under. So I'm here to share a bit about how we at HP see the future of the future of learning as well as work. Okay. Okay, maybe can you help me click the next slide? Okay. Let me begin with the end in mind. Okay, what is the goal of education? Right. Everybody here could have varying reasons for study or learning, right? But we can all agree on one thing. The goal of education is to learn a new skill to ultimately do a job or carry out a task, right? And fundamentally, learning is about literacy, okay? And literacy is about three key things: reading, writing, and speaking. And as in this age, as we move to a more digital world, digital literacy in itself is also very important, right? And digital literacy is about, in the same vein like literacy, it's about using a device, creating the content, and ultimately solving the problem, right? So here we see three very key aspects of digital literacy that is very reflective of what literacy is all about. And today I'll be sharing a bit about more about the use portion, right? Because we at HP are ultimately a PC company, and that is where we see great strides that we need to make in making a difference in education. Sorry, can you click the next slide? Okay. So where does this bring us in terms of EdTech, right? I think we see breakthroughs in EdTech with the use of AI, right? Interestingly enough, if we look at the Google data, right? Last year in Asia, the top Google search, the industry that contributed to the top Google search on the topic of AI was actually from the education sector, right? I think this suggests that there is a great relevance and application that the people in this industry are seeking out for in the area of AI. Okay, so the advancements in generative AI, right, will be pushing the next era in productivity, right? And here we see three key areas that I want to quickly touch on in terms of education. The first is on teachers, right? Educators and teachers, right? Teachers in general spend more than 8 hours more than an average worker, right? Working. And this usually is on tasks that may not be teaching, right? They could be addressing administrative tasks like doing assessments, doing your grading the students' work, right? All these things can be aided with AI, which I'm sure my other esteemed speakers will share more in greater detail later. For students, it's really about preparing them for the future of the technology. We are trying to prepare them for something that we may not even know exists, right? Take for example, like calculators in the past, right? When calculators were first introduced, I'm pretty sure it took a long time before they ended up inside the curriculum in a school, right? And why that was the case? Well, that brings me to the last point, which is on the policy, right? I think crucially, AI in education is really fundamentally hinged on how the policy is being shaped, and that way we can see greater changes, right, in the education space when it comes to AI. So what does that mean for the PCs that we know today, right? So today we are all very familiar with PCs having a CPU and a GPU, right? And the future of PCs will look something like that, right? With a third core processor, which is the NPU, right? So the NPU is actually a dedicated low-power AI engine that runs locally in your machine, and that will help you to carry out AI tasks. And NPU is not only for the data scientists or people who use Python, like you all have correctly identified as a coding language earlier, but it also helps in your day-to-day computer usage experience. For example, right, if some of you here are doing video editing, you would see that with an NPU, it speeds your computer up more than 100% faster in processing your videos on Adobe Premiere Pro. And for the rest of us who will be very, very familiar with Zoom, you would see that with an NPU, it frees up to 40% of the processing power of your device, to do background tasks, like background blurs or background wallpapers, right, in your Zoom calls. And that way, hopefully, the user experience of these computers will help you to change the way you understand Zoom and telecommunications to be. Okay, so I think it does not stop at Zoom, right? Of course, with an AI PC, there are a lot of other tasks that you can do, right? You can see here, these are some of the applications that AI PCs will help to enhance the user experience of, right? From finding your files, to taking your notes, to battery life management, and even in your Microsoft suite of applications like Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, right? So I'll just quickly run through a quick demo. With Copilot on OneNote, right? So for some of the students here who use OneNote to do your note-taking, right, I think this is very, very relevant for you. So we see here, this is OneNote, right, with some notes of a AI PC meeting minutes, right? And I think on the right side, you can call out a Copilot. Copilot is an AI tool, right, by Microsoft, and you can give it some prompts, right? That will summarize whatever meeting minutes you have captured on the left. So you can say things like, okay, draft me a meeting minute agenda, list the pros and cons, help me to make an analysis of what has been captured in the meeting minutes, right? And then you can, of course, you can also type in a key prompt, right? See, so for in this case, we're asking who is the target market of the meeting minutes that was captured, and Copilot will crawl through the meeting minutes to make the suggestions, right? You can even upload your PowerPoint, right, and use Copilot to tease out the key summary points, right? You can even create you can do a quick summary. So sometimes you may not have time to go through 100 slides, but with Copilot, you can summarize everything into a very concise summary so that you can make your key takeaways. Okay, next slide. Okay, so how do we envision the future of the PC, right? I think there are 4 key pillars that we have identified, right? The first is, of course, performance, right? Like I mentioned, with the NPU, the performance of your devices will be greatly revolutionized. You will be able to run AI models locally on your computer, right, without the need for internet and with increased security. And that way, it will help to make your productivity and work management a lot simpler. The next is personalization, right? I think we see in a world where all these individuals, different working styles exist. We want a device, right, that will empower us and give us information that is more tailored to our needs. The third is on how we see it's the portfolio, right? I think at HP, it's all about developing the portfolio of products, right? From your notebooks to your printers, right? And even to the peripherals that you use. And the last is protection, right? I think this is very important, right? Everybody wants their data kept private and well protected. And again, right, having a NPU on your device to run your data locally, right, helps to ensure that. Okay? And yeah, so I think as we look to the future, right, I like to say this, right, AI is really a journey of continuous innovation, right? AI actually is not a new concept. It has been around for many, many years, but it is only recently starting to take off because of more use cases being identified. And I think this is only just the beginning, right? And you know, and I hope, you know, for the rest of over the course of yesterday and for the rest of today, we will continue to see these use cases and draw some applications that will be useful to each of us. All right? Okay. Thank you.
Some of